Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have our esteemed panel of basketball coaches, Northern Virginia coaches, getting together for fall and talk about what's going on in the area. I was over today at Riverside watching a whole bunch of teams play, and I could feel the electricity in the air. The teams are, executing like it's midseason. I saw Coach Carlos Poindexter's Twitter feed that they had a big crowd yesterday for the Patriot Hayfield fall league game. So I just feel like there's a lot of energy in the air, guys, and I'm glad you can join me and talk some basketball.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's definitely been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it's been since the season. Well, let's talk. You guys, let's go around. You guys can just update us on your teams. All you guys, no one's going to be telling us they don't have a team this year, because I've heard rumors about every single coach's team on this panel. So I know everyone's loaded for bear. The only one that can't surprise us is Coach Carlos, because they won state last year. But everyone else has been a talk of the town at some point. So why don't we just go in order? Coach Houston, David Houston is the coach of West Potomac, and he's two straight district titles in a row. And you had a couple big wins this summer as well. But it is off season. But just tell us what's going on and how your team looks for the season.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's cool to have you guys be around with you guys. It's been a while. I think we had a really good off season. I was really pleased. I had a young team last year. We graduated a few kids that were important to us, but we certainly had a nucleus of young guys that are coming back, and a lot of them have really bought into our off-season player, development stuff and how we really get better. And it's been really cool to have these young freshmen and sophomore and juniors out there and watching them grow, like physically grow a couple inches here and there. And at the same time, learning how to grow like in the weight room and stuff that we're doing. So we went to team camp. I had a really good team camp and won the championship down there, came back and we're in the finals in the Fairfax championship or Fairfax Summer League. I thought we did well in that summer league. And then, so far this fall, really been pleased. We've had a couple of really good weeks of games. We play some really tough teams. I think next Saturday, I'm pretty sure we play Sherman and them on Saturday. I'm actually out of town, so I hate that I'll miss that game. But I think with the guys I have, I got a backcourt coming back. I got a couple bigs returning, a couple wings that are returning from a team that did well last year. So I'm really pleased with their work so far. And I think that we're going to be somebody that has not been talked about for a while at the beginning of the year. Don't care if they don't talk about us now, but I think that the kids have done what I've asked, and I think I like where we're going.
Yeah, late February we'll be talking about you. Well, Coach Sherman, we talked a few weeks ago. You definitely have another strong team. Probably not the strongest district in the state this year, but all you can do is worry about the Patriot Pioneers. So why don't you give us an update on what's going on out there?
Our guys have been really getting after it this off season. Really, getting stronger in the weight room, and obviously the stuff we've been able to do in the gym or with our conditioning and whatnot. So I'm pleased with the progress we're making. It's things that we're trying to do right now that really are not as much as putting our hands on them and getting them to like run things and of that nature. So we're just kind of letting them play. Let them kind of figure each other out a little bit on the offensive and defensive end. We've obviously been able to play some good competition over at Tony's Fall League, so that's always a good thing for us. And and just trying to figure out, how I know we got a lot of guys that are experienced, but at the same time, figuring out how these young guys that we got that are pretty talented can figure out how to contribute when they're not used to playing the whole game, where it's a lot different for them, trying to figure out how they can contribute in the minutes that they're being offered. So I'm happy with the progress we are. I mean, like I said, it's October, so you don't want to be anything great right now, but obviously with the schedule and stuff that we got coming, we got to make sure that we're prepared for that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Well, Coach Bentley, Coach Sherman just called you out. I understand there's a certain big name player. The last name I recognize. He's been name has been in DC sports circles for many, many years. But I understand you got some strong players in Wakefield's squad. And I know last year you had one of my favorite players in the area what was the kid's name I used to always talk to you about? He had the old strength body. What was his name?
Seth.
Seth. Yeah, I love the way that kid played. He reminded me of one of the guys that would run a pickup, a pickup game. But anyway, Coach, tell us about your team and your summer.
Things have been going well. We've done like everybody else, a couple team camps, and fall league is going really well. Summer league, all that good stuff. For us, coming back this year is, just really one guy with some varsity experience. So doesn't matter who comes in and all of that good stuff. I only have one guy that's coming back with some varsity experience, and that's our little floor general, BJ Willis. So we had a real bad injury last year to one of our beloved guys, Ricardo, who messed his knee up, had surgery in March. So we're definitely looking to rebuild, and we've got guys that are buying into the things that we're trying to do, which I like a lot. So we got guys that are coming every day, committed to what we're trying to do and trying to make Wakefield better. So we've improved, and we're looking forward to the season as well.
Yeah, you guys really last year, you did a great job of getting that team by the playoffs. Wakefield was playing about definitely as good as anyone in that district. Maybe besides Marshall. Marshall was pretty consistent. But
I'm gonna stop you there. It's the first time in 10 years we didn't make the regional tournament, so we wasn't playing worth a damn.
Man, I saw you. I saw you a couple times. You guys look great, but
not good enough. How about that? So
yeah.
that's what we're harping on this year. That
Yeah.
like I said, 10 years didn't make it to the regional tournament. That's all we're thinking about right now. So definitely playing well at the end of last year.
Yeah, that's right. You guys lost to Langley in the tournament, right?
Yes, sir.
Langley went from being able to not beat anyone to all of a sudden being world beaters in the postseason.
Absolutely.
So anyway, well, Coach Harris, good to see you again. Give us an update on your team, your Westfield team. Also, let us know how Darren's going. It's funny about Darren. I've interviewed Darren a couple times, and all the things he was doing, it was before he reached puberty. Because when I see him on social media now, Darren is like this grown man, and I used to see him, getting 20 points, and it's amazing how he's filled out and developed. So anyway, Coach, tell us about your team and let us know how Darren's doing.
My team is working hard, just like everybody else, putting the work in the fall league, summer league, team camps. We got some new pieces in, and I think that our seniors last year that graduated did a good job of setting the tone and the standard for showing up to workouts and working hard. So it's continuing on this year, and the new guys have stepped right in and, working hard. We played in Tony's Fall League, and it's good competition. We're seeing some good, some bad. We're trying to work on some things here and there, but overall, I'm pleased by our efforts.
You get that point guard that was a sophomore a few years ago. I thought was a really nice player. Is he developing nicely? I can't pull his name right now, but he started for Doug for Coach Doug Yule when I think his sophomore year. He's probably a senior by now.
Don't know who that is. He may have left.
Okay.
Maybe one of the kids that left.
Never know these days. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that part of the show. So, Coach Carlos, you coming off 2 straight state titles in a row. It's I think it's going to probably be fun for you this year because the pressure was on Hayfield, even though you won a state title. I mean, all you could do was lose because every game you win, if you don't win by a certain style, a certain number of points, you disappoint people. But anyway, I understand you guys are playing really well. Tell us about this year's Hayfield team and about your offseason.
We stink. I have a point guard issue at the moment. Trying to figure that part out. Hopefully we can figure that out when by the time the season starts. But other than that, man, our kids is working hard. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They be in the gym. The workouts have been good, and man. So we just hopefully we can make some type of noise this year. But to me, it's a 3-team race, and we ain't one of the 3. So we'll figure it out. Hopefully we can make something happen once playoffs hit. We got a lot of work to do to get to where we need to get if we're going to get back to where we've been. So point guard play is a need for us right now. I've been accustomed to having good point guards over the past 5 years, and now it's it's up in the air. So once we solidify our point guard position, I think we'll have a chance. Until then, we're going to continue to, look good some days, look bad other days.
Yeah.
That's just how the game goes.
Coach Jason Coleman was over at South County, and he said one of your players took a fall late in the game on a dunk. Is he okay? Did you was any player? Yeah,
he all right, man. He was faking. Hey,
no,
hey, that kid that dunked is the same kid that on Thursday talking about he couldn't run, he couldn't jump.
Okay,
but then on Saturday he's dunking.
Yeah, I think Jason left the gym, was getting ready to call 911 for you, Coach. He said, "Oh, this guy's hurt." So, good thing he's not hurt. Well, Coach Craig, I've also heard, and everybody on the call is terrible so far, but I also heard you got some big players. Had a real good performance against Osborne, and we know with Dermy Marshall coaching Osborne, they're going to be a tough out this year, right? Right, Coach Sherman. But I understand you got a strong team coming back. Got a freshman point guard that I've been hearing about as well. So how was your off season, and what do you think about the upcoming season?
Well, thank you for having me on. And good to see everybody again. Yeah, I mean, I think like everybody else, right? I'm putting in the work in the off season, and a couple team camps, and working out during the week, and getting in the weight room a couple days a week, and Saturdays you drive over to Wakefield and you play fall league, and you watch your team play, and you drive yourself nuts because you want to correct a million different problems that you see that you can't really correct in the off season because you can't practice with them. So, I think sometimes in fall league, it's almost like I try not to read too much into what's going on in fall league, because teams look a lot different once coaches get their hands on them, and some guys get their football guys back, and you get guys in the right roles. I think, we had a good summer. The guys, this is a group, they like to be in the gym. They like to work hard. They're kind of gym rat kind of kids. And they seem to like to play together. So we'll see what happens this year. We're hopeful that it's going to be a good season. We have a lot of experience back for the first time in kind of a while, where we have a lot of guys that have played the year before. This is probably the most returners with a lot of varsity game experience that we've had in quite some time. So we're kind of looking forward to not having to like teach everything on the first. Sometimes the last couple of years you blow the whistle and be like, all right, let's do this drill at practice, and 14 guys are looking at you like you got two heads. They have no idea what you're talking about. So kind of looking forward to having a little institutional knowledge back, as they say.
Coach, I saw on social media that Sean Burke, he's a soccer coach at Woodson, great guy, that his son got hurt this weekend. Was that his son that plays basketball for you? I know he has two
Theo
sons.
Burke. I don't think it was anything serious. Theo was our starting point guard last year, and a very good player. Was an all-district player, last year, and started for us. Played close to 32 minutes a game because we couldn't really take him off the floor. That's Sean. That's Sean's son. He's a very good player. He's a junior this year. He'll be a big part of what we do.
Yeah, Sean's great. Coach Sean's a great guy, really good soccer coach, and just awesome guy. Well, let's talk a little bit about player movement and also young players. Last year when I talked to Coach Carlos, the first thing he said to me is the region is going to be down this year, which I thought was surprising, since he had, I knew he had a very strong team, but he said this region is 1 or 2 years away. And I definitely, I saw 4 or 5 teams today. I was very impressed by the talent level I saw. I saw Riverside, Albemarle, Marshall, and Mountain View. But generally, was Coach Carlos telling the truth? Is the talent level, is it going to be up this year? Anybody?
I mean, I think it's up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look all around, I mean, if you just look at Tony Bentley's fall league team, and you could go in there and pick any game, and you're gonna find a good basketball player or a few basketball players on everybody's team. And some of the guys, they probably don't have names at this moment, but as the season goes along, you're gonna start hearing about such and such kid. So I think the region. I mean, I think the region, the state, our area is on the up and up for sure. It's not just a top heavy team. I mean, I said it's going to be 3 teams, but a lot of teams are going to be in the running for it this year, man. And like how the Patriot district hasn't been, they've been there. I feel like from top to bottom this particular year for sure. Like you can't say who's going to win that conference, and versus some of our other conferences that we have. You probably could say Sherman's team is going to win. South Lake's probably is 9 times out of 10 going to win. So you can say that about that, but you can't say that about that Patriot League this year. And it's probably been like that for the past couple of years, to be honest.
Right. I think it's a
we're
lot
gonna
of
win.
talent for sure. Just even piggybacking off what Lo said, I mean, you can walk into those fall league games, and I mean, we all know that there's like kids that have opportunities to play at the next level. But I think there's a lot of scholarship level players in public school right now. Just in particular in the class of 2024, some of them have reclassed and gone into the other ones. But just from a public school standpoint, I mean, what was happening during our game when we were playing on Saturday, and then like so you have Doug and the big guys that he has. Obviously I heard that Tony's got some guys over there. I got to see Dave's guys play when they played the Forest Park game. Kevin's got
Forest Park.
Right. Kevin's got a couple kids that look really good. So it's not something where it's always been like talent. It just feels a little different as of recent. Like maybe some of these kids that would have normally been gone to private schools decided that they weren't going to go. And I think right now I have 3 that maybe in years past, those kids would have not been in public school. With Tay, Desmond, and Isaiah, where they are been public school kids the whole time, and they are scholarship level kids.
Yeah. It's interesting because, Tay, he went to another public school. Grant Polk went to private school. I understand that Mike Desmond's got 2 kids from O'Connell that came back from private to public.
Mike got a kid from New Zealand that is the best out of the 3. To be honest with you, he's better than the kids from O'Connell.
That's why he's hiding. That's why he's hiding tonight. But it's just interesting. The kids are going from private into public. Some are going public into private. They're going both ways now, and it's interesting to see the movement.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyone else want to jump in here? Dave, you got called out for beating. I think you guys beat Forest Park a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. I looked up top and saw it was a lot of people watching, so it wasn't really like a way to hide. I thought my kids played real well, and he had his 5. We had, he had like 11 or whatever. I mean, they're a solid program, solid team. And I thought my guys played real well. My talent, I think my class of 26 is my best class I've ever had across the board talent. And then, class of 25, I think is really good too. And so like, I went to a lot of AAU tournaments, or not a lot, but I went to a few AAU tournaments this summer. And there was a lot of guys on this call whose class of 26 and 25 kids were really talented. And I mean, it wasn't just like at my school where I'm seeing this talent at that, those sophomores. I started a freshman last year, and a lot of guys on here started sophomores and played deep into the playoffs. So I think the idea of these talented kids getting early experience in the varsity, and then we're seeing them as sophomores and juniors being like vets. I think that talent spread out, and it makes the game better. You can definitely tell like kids are getting after it. I thought our Forest Park game was a really good effort game. Both teams got after it. Like, we played them in the regular season, so we played them like game 3, I think. I've been pleased with a lot of the talent around. I agree with Carlos. You walk into a gym, no doubt, in any one of the 3 gyms at Tony's game, you're going to see somebody that can play, or 2 kids that can play, and you got the college coaches in there looking for that reason. So yeah, I think you're onto that.
Do you think kids are beginning to realize that private school is not for everybody? I mean, if you can't get on the court, it might not be a good move for you now anyway. So
I don't think kids are realizing that, and some parents are still. We still got some kids in here from schools in here whose kids are at like private schools you never heard of off of Backlick Road and Edsel and stuff. Like you never heard of these schools before, and they're still like making the move over to those places where staying in your public school has proven to be good for a lot of guys, a lot of schools. So I don't think the message is all the way out. I think that some kids have decided to stay. Their parents might have, made them do it, or maybe they didn't have the option to go. But I don't think it's out there that the kids are like, no, public is better or just as good. I don't think that message is completely out yet.
Mm-hmm. When these kids get offered young, like the kid from Alexandria City, Carlos, we talked about him a few weeks ago. What's the guard who's offered? But
Darius Bivens.
Yeah, when you get these kids that are offered young, Greg Jones or even Tay or so, do they even need to move? If you already offered in your sophomore year, can't you just stay at your public school and Jordan Scott and just play?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it depends on the situation. My bad, Los.
No, you good. Go ahead.
You know, like Jordan is in a very good situation where he is, going to play good competition and his team is going to play at a high level. I always end up saying something that makes somebody upset, so it is what it is.
Why stop now?
But I mean, listen. If we're just being honest about it, Nate Ament is another kid that we can look at like that. He already had offers and everything else like that. And I think that Jason John does a very good job of coaching his kids during the season. The rumor is there isn't a whole lot of times that the gym is open in the off season. And that was the rumor of why Nate left. I can't speak on that because I'm not in that program and I don't know. But, and then you add into the fact that how good were they going to be even if they had him? So it's just, it's like I know that Highland is playing a very difficult schedule this year because I spoke to their coach and he wasn't going to play any teams like that playing at Colgan. So, it's you look at it either one of the ways, like you said, you would like kids to stay, especially once they're already getting the type of, attention that they want. But sometimes, like you said, you have situations where a kid like Nate goes and plays with a big name AAU team and they're telling him that he probably needs to go, most likely. And, just the way that it happens. So glad that guys like Jordan and Tay are staying in public school, even though they got that attention already. You would like to see it happen a lot more, but sometimes you understand the reason why different kids make different decisions.
Yeah. Well, Grant Polk, a terrific kind of wing player. I think he's going to St. Albans.
Correct.
I believe, and St. Albans is a fantastic academic school. Basketball program, I don't think it's been on top for a while. When I was a kid, I mean, they had not Wally Lancaster, but they had Tom Sluby, a whole bunch of great players when I was young. But it's far. It's 35 miles. If you're going to pay that express, it's very difficult. So when you see kids making these efforts to go to private, you're like, wow, that's a big sacrifice.
The reclass situation also is a big draw for him. I know Nate did it and Grant did it as well. So the kids think about that and they think about what it means if they go down in class and they're able to play against kids and being older. So I know that was a big deciding factor with some other stuff that I won't say. So
I don't think Nate reclassed though.
Nate did not. I'm not sure if he did.
Yeah, Nate didn't reclass.
Kevin said he didn't. But he doesn't have to.
The Franklin kid reclassed though, and left out of Madison and went to St. Andrews.
So he reclassed too. So
yeah.
Well, what about coaches? If we got now we know Dermia is going to Osborne. Happy birthday, Derm. And then Terry, I just lost his last name. Henderson's at West Springfield. Do we have any other coaching movement in the area?
What's the old Falls Church coach?
Joe, he's at Yorktown.
Joe's at Yorktown.
Joe Kimga.
Matt Duderman got the job at Justice.
Oh yeah, okay. Matt got Justice.
Travis Hess is over at Robinson.
My man Travis Hess is back. I ain't even talked to Travis yet.
Old face in a new place.
Yeah. Well, let's go to some of the rule changes. One of them, 1-on-1 is such a big part of the high school game, and 1-on-1, fouls, using your fouls. Now, I believe the game is going to completely change because now it's no more 1-on-1. The bonus is every quarter, and you're going to shoot 2 shots. I think the WNBA is like this, I believe, or maybe women's college basketball, one or the other, has this rule. Have you guys played under these rules at all this summer? And have you thought deeply about how are you going to handle that significant rule change?
The bad part is that summer is halves. we, like off season, we play halves.
Right.
Nobody, we haven't played in a quarter event yet. So the strategy of getting the 5 fouls in a quarter compared to playing 2 20-minute halves and then getting to the double bonus, I think would be completely different. But what I've noticed that the kid that aren't very good shooters, they're just highlighted more that they're going to miss them, and they're just getting double the chance to not make them. No one-on-one is definitely going to be a game changer, but I think the idea of getting to the bonus at 5 per quarter is going to be more than that.
Yeah. PA Live event did it.
Mm-hmm.
They did it, so we got a chance to do that, and whoever else participated in that. So that was a good way to see it. It obviously makes the game different, that is for sure. But I don't really have any problems with it right now. I'll say how I feel after the season.
It's one of those things that'll just work itself out. I guess we'll all get used to it. Or you think people are like, for example, in soccer, some people put a lot of thought into penalty kicks because it's so important. And I guess this is kind of similar in that, it's just part of the game and you can just deal with it when it comes, or you can really put some thought and, try to game it a little bit to your advantage. I know, Coach Craig, you're always trying to get an advantage. Have you thought deeply about the foul throws?
No, I'm interpreting it wrong, but I feel like 5 fouls a quarter allows you to be a little bit more physical. Because you could pile up 8 fouls before anybody shoots anything, as opposed to in the 1-on-1 rule it was 7, right? So it does allow you to be a little bit more physical on the perimeter. The fact that it resets every quarter. It also, I think, is gonna. There's some games where if the officials are calling it particularly tight, team can get into the bonus in the first quarter, and it feels like the whole rest of the half it becomes a free throw competition. So I think with the reset at the quarters, it will help with that a little bit. I think also it's going to change a little bit end of game, depending on how close you are to that double bonus line. If you play fourth quarter, you only pick up 1 foul early, as opposed to having it carry over from the third quarter. It could change, your strategy on how early you might have to start giving fouls, especially with the 2-shot foul. So, it's going to be a little different. But I think we'll all adjust to it. I think probably in a year from now, we'll all be like, oh, it feels like we've been playing that way forever. I know it seemed like some of the summer leagues wanted to go to when they would go to 1-on-1s in the past. They would go to 2-shot fouls now. I know Fairfax Summer League made that rule change once the rule went through. So I think the kids got a little bit of experience with it, but no 1-on-1s will certainly change the strategy a little bit at the end of the games. I think
it's if you're worried about officiating, a shortage of officials and therefore maybe inexperienced, weaker officials, I think this is probably better because getting 1-on-1 early and a half, as you said, Coach Craig, it can really change a game. It could really make the game less desirable for the fans as well. It's just a free throw contest for a quarter and a half if you get there early, I guess. So maybe we'll work out. What about the live period? Are there any other major changes in high school basketball? How'd the live period work out? Did you guys were able to take advantage of it, and was it worth it?
I asked a question about the rule change. Maybe you guys know. Is that an NFHS thing, or is that that's an NFHS?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I didn't get a survey. You guys get the email survey or something? I never received an email survey. It was just the automatic change. Just like the other change that they made was the 4 spots out of bounds on the foul. And I didn't know this until 2 weeks ago. Tony, in your league, a couple of refs came up and said something to me about it. Where common foul below the 3-point line, there are 4 spots where the ball is going to be, and one of them is particularly far on a baseline of the bounds from the baskets. It's a little bit further away, as if the ball had gone out closer to the corner. So it certainly changes.
I don't know anything what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Everybody else know this?
Nah.
Well, one of the referees came up to me right before the first game of our fall league and was talking about that rule. I had no idea what he was talking about. And it was too short of a time. He was about to go referee the game. And he asked me, was we implementing that? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I guess the meeting is coming up in October or whatever. I guess we'll talk about it. But I had no idea what he's talking about. But I do know what Dave's talking about. But don't know the 4 spots. But there are 4 spots where the ball is only going to be taken out. hopefully they'll explain it to us in the rules clinic or whatever.
Like NBA. It's like NBA. So like the ball is never taken out like directly under the basket on the NBA. Just like next to the backboard. It's always about 6 feet, maybe to 8 feet to the right or left of the backboard. And then on the sideline, it'll be kind of right where just below the coach's box, about the round, just below the coach's box. So yeah, I didn't think much of it until I didn't care. He was talking to me about it way too long. And I didn't really care until I saw where it was on the baseline of the bounds. And I certainly, we have a couple out of bounds plays that's significantly a major change on. So I didn't know if it was NFHS or if it was the 4 quarters. I didn't know if it was just Virginia thing or not.
Seems like if you like to run set plays, that would be a good thing because you have fewer spots with which to practice your set plays. So maybe that's a positive if that's what you like to do. So
I definitely gotta see this.
What's that? Yeah. Well, so I was hoping, I was trying to push for a change in the postseason because the postseason is such a drag. Because again, like last year, Hayfield ends up playing Edison like 5 times, and then it's hard to get out of your bracket. And you guys end up playing South Lakes, and I think the state semifinal, right, Coach? I believe you played South Lakes. Yeah. And then it was the same. I guess Sherman's was a little bit more interesting because part of A and B is in the few schools in the Tidewater area that are.
You mean the fact that we actually played the real state tournament while they played the Fairfax Championship?
Exactly. It's I interviewed Mickey Thompson, and I wasn't even asking about this, but I asked him, would he prefer us to go back to 3 classifications? And man, that guy. First of all, he's a great interview, but he's a really smart guy. He says Julian, what's that?
I listened to that.
Yeah, man. He said the reason why they did that was for football, because in football, if there's no postseason tournament, so if you didn't win your division or finish second, you weren't going to the regionals. So they created 6 classifications for football, and then everyone was like, well, why can't we do it? And so it was never meant for sports with tournaments, because what happens is you win 2 or 3 games in your regular season. You're still alive. And that's, that's how, we've had to play teams over and over again. I know like Brentsville and Meridian and girls, I think they played 4 or 5 times last year. It's just over and over again. So it's brutal, but I don't think that's being changed, but at least we did add the live period. And I guess that was a success, guys.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they had, some little kinks here or there, but I thought that overall it was exactly what we needed, and I'm sure that they'll take the bugs out of it for next year, but it was good, some good matchups, some good competition. Like we got to see Woodside, which, obviously that wouldn't have been a team that we would normally see. And then, even with that, we got to be able to schedule them for a regular season game just off of us being able to play that game in the live period. And you come across coaches and have conversations that you might not normally have. What'd you say?
I said you can't help yourself.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I didn't even say nothing. See, you try to slice it. So it's good. I thought it was good. There was a lot of exposure to a lot of coaches there. I would like to see them do it on an opposite weekend of the other one that's happening out at DeMatha, so the coaches don't have to choose which one they want to go to. Yeah. But that's nothing you can really do about those things.
So the thing that I feel like that they should do, because it's going to be the weekend that's going to be, I feel like they just need to own one of those days, whether it's going to be a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday, and have the right matchups at the right time, so that the college coach can choose. Like, on Friday we're going to go to this day because we know we're going to be at the math all day on Saturday and all day on Sunday. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I feel like that's how
DC Live does a good job with that. As far as like their scheduling compared to
they actually go look at the schedule and put the games opposite of the top matchups in the map.
Right. Like VA Live, we played Woodside on the last day, and that would have been nice to have that one been on Friday night.
Right.
Just stuff like that. I see what Los is trying to say.
One thing I like is that at least with these live periods and some of these summer leagues, you actually see the stats of players besides, like Chris Jolly does a great job, but all he does is provide the leading scorer for the winning team. He can't be everywhere. So at least with these off-season tournaments, you do get a chance to see how the other kids are performing, not just the lead scorer. So I've actually kind of enjoyed seeing that. Well, let's preview the districts. And let's start backwards. We always do Prince William last. Let's do Prince William first. So there's two districts, primarily Prince William. Coach is in the Cedar Run. Coach Sherman's in the Cedar Run with his Patriot Pioneers, and the other district is that's not Commonwealth, Coach. It's
Cardinal district.
It's the Cardinal in the eastern part of Prince William County. So let's talk about Prince William. I know you guys have probably bumped into some teams. Coach Howson played against Forest Park, who went to state last year and got some guards back. But what do you guys see in Prince William this year?
I think that Forest Park's gonna be very good. They got a lot of their players back. They got a kid that transferred back that left and went to private school. That's obviously going to help them a lot. I think they got one of the best players from Colonial Forge that transferred in there. So they got some pieces. They got some size. They got some guards. So, if you had to handicap it right now, you would have to say that they're the favorite just because they're coming in as a champ from last year. But, Potomac's going to be very talented. Anthony Mills does a great job with his group, and he's got some key returners coming back from the team that won a good amount of games last year. So, and I know he likes his young talent. Tavares and Shamar, I'm pretty sure, are still at Freedom as of right now. I mean, anybody else knows different, you can tell me. But as of right now, that's what I know. And if they're there, they're going to be very talented in the backcourt. I'm not be sure if they're going to have a couple of the football kids because I think they might be early enrollees that played basketball last year. But, you got to think about them being a dangerous team. We have two guards that can go for 20 to 30 every night. You got to be worried about that. Talked about Jason John over at Colgan had a couple of losses. Obviously, Nate is a huge one. I think they had another kid that left and went to South County, but he always does a good job with his guys. Barry's over at Hilton, got a lot of experience. So I'm not sure what those teams have coming back, but, they're going to compete. They're going to get after it. But if you're really looking at it, it's kind of, Forest Park, Potomac, and then, we'll see what Freedom can do as far as that, their depth. On our side, I say it every year, it's us until it ain't. And so I feel like it's going to be us again. I haven't really seen anything from the Purple guys this offseason as far as what they're doing. I know they got a couple transfers in, and Randy does a good job with his group. The Birds school down the street lost a big guy with Grant leaving and going to private school. But, they got a few athletes, and I know they got a really good incoming freshman. Also, you talk about Dermy and some of the struggles he might have with that team this year. But, those kids play hard and they fight hard. So, he's going to get his kids to compete. I think the guy with Freedom South Riding does a good job with his group, and they run good stuff. What am I missing? OP, he's still a little bit new. Lost a really good player in the Virginia Academy, but he's learning and doing some stuff every day. So, it's not going to be the murderer's row that it might have been in the past on our side, but it's still going to be competitive because everybody comes, to play every night.
Man, Prince William, you lose a lot of players to private school. It used to be you guys were too far away to really go to private school, but now it seems like 1 year I went to watch Highland play. I saw Jamel Perkins' son play for Highland. I guess he had been Garfield, and I guess their whole team had been, Prince William guys. It sounded like, but it makes it tough. Anyone else have anything to say about Prince William before we get?
I guess Potomac. Did you say anything about Potomac?
I did. I talked about them. They brought, obviously they got TJ and the point guard and the Peter Mitchell kid. So I think they got some big guy that moved in from Japan. It's amazing how people just get people from other countries and stuff like that. But I get a kid that actually lives with his dad down the street, and everybody thinks I'm the worst person ever.
Oh, man. All I know is, Coach, I went to watch you guys play against Potomac last year. I got there 5 minutes late. It was 28-4 when I got in the gym. I was so angry when I got to West Springfield that day. At least
they beat the mess out of them.
Yeah, at least.
Talking about you, Los. How y'all beat?
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you, Carlos. But
that was.
How y'all did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, and said I I can't keep ducking. I can't duck him this year, but I'm like, our schedule's already booked because he said he got to get that game back.
Yeah. So, well, let's go to the former Northern region. Let's go to I guess I call it 6D. Let's go to Liberty District. I know Marshall. I saw Marshall today. As Coach Sherman.
How did they look?
They look good. I mean, as Coach Sherman said, that they're very well drilled. They're running midseason offense. The big guy Anderson Crisco, he's going to be okay. Post up strong. I like what I saw. I mean, the three guards. It's about as good a three guard combination on a high school level you can expect to have. I mean, obviously, you guys have had great teams too, but they got some nice guards. And obviously, Jerry and his coaching staff, they do a great job. So Marshall's definitely going to be strong this year. But what about the rest of the district? I know Coach Bentley. I know you're in there. What's your prediction for the Liberty?
Let me just tell you, maybe I'm old, but Sherman, I don't know how you know about everybody's team, because I can tell you right now, I don't know except for when I see them come to Wakefield.
Yeah.
And play in the fall league. And if you guys know, when you come to Wakefield, you don't even see me. I don't even get to watch my own team because I'm worried about everything running smoothly.
Yeah.
So I don't get a chance to see all of that. I do know, just looking like last year, I know Marshall won it last year. They've got 3 really good players that'll be, their top dogs. And then all those other guys will fall in line and run their system. They're really good. They are the team to beat. I think they beat WNL last year, and WNL lost 3 really good players from last year, but they still got my main man, Bobby Dobson, on the sideline. So you don't never count them out. And then after that, I believe, again, I couldn't tell you, but I think McLean is going to be really good. Mike always has those guys playing hard. Langley, again, I'm hearing has the player of the year in our district. The kid scores a lot of points. He's a really good player.
He's got some range for sure.
Yep. Who else we got? Herndon. I'm not for sure about what Coach Q is finally getting his feet in there, and he always does a great job. Who else? In Yorktown, they had a new coach. Joe's coming from, he was out for a little while. He's at Falls Church, and when he was at Falls Church, he ran the flex offense. He does a good job with the players that he has, and I think Yorktown is going to be really good as well under his leadership. I think that's it. I'm sorry I cannot give you guys a report like my man Sherman. That is amazing, Sherman, because
Hey, don't feel bad. Last year, Los couldn't even tell us the name of the teams in his district.
I remember that.
So it's interesting that at Yorktown they run the flex because the football team runs a single wing. I mean, that is an old school. That's an old school program. The flex and the single wing. I ran the flex in 1984.
Yeah.
So anyone else?
Hey, Doug. Doug. What's the kid from Yorktown that we like?
Maria.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I like him, man.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. I coach his dad at Robinson.
And the kid at Langley is last name's
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. Yeah. Listen, Liberty District. I'm sorry, I don't know names, but I do know, players. I know they're good. I don't know the names, but I do know that they're talented. They're really good.
Well, my son was home for winter break. We went to watch Yorktown play Langley last year. Yorktown beat him by 25 points. And my son said, that is the worst high school basketball team I've ever seen, Langley. I mean, they looked terrible. They were horrible that night. And it was interesting because I saw them play just 2 or 3 weeks later, and they did not miss. I mean, anything they threw up was going in. And I just couldn't believe it. It was the same thing. One of my friends' son was on the team, and I called him up, and I was like, did you get a whole bunch of new players? He says, no. He says, same players. The kids they're just playing well. So that's the beauty of it. I know that I think McLean is O'Brien's the coach, and I think his team was pretty young last year. A scrappy bunch. So anyone else want to talk about Liberty a little bit, or?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too many teams from there, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the Patriot district. Coach Craig, Coach Howson. I guess we're jumping to 6C. We'll go back to 6D and do Concord. But in the Patriot district, last year was an interesting year because at the beginning of the year it was all about South County, and then it was about Fairfax, and then those teams. Then it was about Alexandria City. It kept changing during the year, and then Houston wins it with West Potomac, and so it was a fun district. There was truly no real off nights. I guess Robinson wasn't great last year, but they'll be better this year. So let's talk about Patriot a little bit. I know you want to start with this one, Coach Craig or Coach Houston?
Sure. It's another year in the Patriot district. Just about everybody will have good players. I mean, Robinson, I don't ever hear anybody talk about them. They just had a kid commit to Mary Washington yesterday. So, the team that probably will not be picked in the top 5 of our district has a college player. I mean, it's just
Mary Washington's good now.
Yeah, it's another night in the Patriot, and Robinson's best players are sophomores and juniors. Like, they got a bunch of underclassmen. They played 2 freshmen in their top 7 or 8 last year. They played I think 1 or 2 sophomores. I mean, they're just kind of young, but they got a lot of talent. But I mean, I think there's a lot of good teams. I think obviously Dave has won the district, West Potomac, the last 2 years. He's got a freshman point guard who's now a sophomore, who I thought was one of the better young point guards I've seen in the region in a long time. He had another freshman playing JV that he stashed on the JV, 6'5", who's really, really talented. He has BJ Necroma on the wing, who's a second-team all-district player, 6'4" guard. And then his freshman and JV teams, I think, combined lost about 3 games last year.
Wow.
So, like, everybody who thinks like West Potomac graduated 5 seniors, like, he's going to reload with kids that can play.
Wow.
South County is very deep. I mean, their JV team went undefeated last year, and he brings back a lot of guys with varsity experience. He was kind of like us. He played a lot of sophomores last year on the varsity that will now be experienced juniors. Fairfax has 4 starters back. I mean, everybody talks about Margot, but the other 4 starters are all back from a team that won, 18, 19 games, Dave. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know Margot's a very good player, and it's hard to replace someone like that, but they do have a lot of guys who played very key roles. Ronnie Peters was a first-team all-district player last year. Cam Love was a second-team all-district player. So they got a first-team and a second-team all-district player back. And there's Alexandria City. I mean, they could conceivably have the leading scorer in the area. And they have a sophomore guard who's got multiple Division I offers. And then they got 3 or 4 other guys who started games for them last year. Like, they're very good. They could arguably have the best backcourt in the area with Kai Robinson and Darius Bivens. I mean, those guys can really. Kai averaged 20 points a game last year as a junior. A tough guard at the high school level. So there's just everybody's got guys that can play in our league. There's just not an easy night. And then you got Mitras over there, Lake Braddock, who he may come out and try to hold the ball this year after he's run up to 100 the last 5 years. So, there's just not a lot of easy nights in our league, and there's just a lot of depth. So I know Davey's over there smiling at me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to filibuster this, Coach House.
Yeah, I was thinking about you, Coach Craig, when you're passing by schools in your area to go all the way to play the Patriot schools, 4 or 5 miles south. So that's the way it is, I guess.
Frankly, I love the competition. I think it's great. Night in, night out, you're seeing other good players. You're really challenging your program and your teams on all 3 levels. And that's the other thing too. Like, even on the freshman and JV level in our league, I'm sure Coach Houston would agree with this. Like, it's just very competitive. It's just, you don't see a freshman game that's like 85-20. You just don't see that in our league. And there's just a lot of good teams.
What freshman games you going to 85 points being scored? I want to see that.
Oh yeah, come on over, you get those.
85 is wild for that. Good for them.
Well, Doug left me nothing to say.
Well, you got to put pressure on him. He talked about all your players.
Right.
He's got Coach Craig's got the tallest team in the area, no question. And a lot of those guys, he talked earlier about himself and how they were really young, but he's returned a ton of guys. I think what he said was really sharp about everybody. I mean, he's always, Coach Craig's always been really good. You shouted out Sherman and how his memory about teams, Tony, but Doug's always been good at that. Knowing how many points guys scored and rebound per game. I like my team's backcourt. Really, I'm really a big fan of our backcourt. I think I haven't had a returning backcourt from a district championship team in a while. and just a team of, everybody here knows you get guys that have been there before. The combination of them coming back the next year is, helps in an enormous amount of ways on the floor, on the fly. Coaching is just so much easier. But I mean, he's right. Like every single night, I've been in the Patriot my whole career, except for the 3 years that we were in the Gunston. And it hadn't changed since back in the day when TC was winning the state championship till, now, because in our league, if you're good enough to compete at the top of our league, you're probably good enough to compete, around wherever we're going to play. I think, West Springfield, they got a lot of guys back. I've seen them. I agree with Alexandria City and their returning guards. They can certainly score. I think, it's and Robinson, I didn't think Robinson was bad last year. I didn't think at all they were bad. I like our league. I think our 1 and 2 haven't in the past few years been as good a 1 and 2 as there has been in the state, but like our 3, 4, 5, I would put up against anybody's, 2, 3, 4, all the way down. Our 6 is really tough. So I know we open up with Langley. We were talking about we open our season up with Langley, so I'm really looking forward to that. We play Tuscarora at one point this year, and we're going to play Forest Park comes to us as well. So I think our out of conference schedule is going to prepare us, and then we head on down to Charlottesville.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
play.
that.
Yeah, we're going down there again to Charlottesville down there. We got I've seen the brackets, really tough. Of course, they do a good job, put all the toughest guys in the top, bracket and put themselves in the Albemarle teams in the bottom. But, all those things help prepare us for the grind of the Patriots. So I think it's going to be a good year.
Dave, that's a great tournament director. Trust me, I
sure.
know.
Albemarle beat Marshall by 1 today in the first game. So
Albemarle came all the way up to where did you see them at?
At Riverside.
Riverside.
Yeah.
Loudoun County.
Dang. That's a long. They're Albemarle's right in the heart of Charlottesville.
They look really good. They got a 6'3" guy / he reminds me of a guy named David Taylor. You guys remember David? He played for Mount Vernon with Barry Smith. 6'3" guy can really slash and score. I like that team. So if you play them, they'll be a good competition for you.
Albemarle, that tournament is great. Nobody from here is just going to drive just to see a game. Like, you're not going to do that. But if you happen to be in Charlottesville for the at the time that tournament's going on, it's an old school, like almost like Washington Post type tournament where you got the newspaper guy that's actually there, like interviewing you right after the game on the local TV station at 10 and 11 o'clock. They're doing highlights from the tournament only. It's and the same people come back to the tournament. It's at 2 different sites. I think it's at Charlotte. At Albemarle, at Charlottesville, and at Western Albemarle are your 3 sites that you go to. But Albemarle and Western and Charlottesville are really comparable to up here, the teams up here.
Yeah, sure.
So it's a really good, good tournament to be in.
Yeah.
Dave, you have huddle. You have huddle, Dave?
Yeah.
I have huddle. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can just send us the table. I'm not going on damn Charlotte.
But the hometown feel, the hometowny feel, and you get no calls when you're out of town. And nones. And I get threatened to get tossed out of a game. I don't cuss. I don't do any of that stuff on the sideline. I get threatened to get tossed out of a game every time we're down there just because, they don't want out of towners to win. But I love the tournament. But yeah, I'll send you the huddle film.
Yeah.
Hey, House, you said something that the 2026 class is better than everyone that you've had, even better than the twins class. When you had them twins, that class was pretty damn
My class
good.
of 26 class is the most talented. I said it's the most talented class I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, remains to be seen if they're the best class or the toughest class. But basketball talent, the freshman team last year went undefeated. And I took the 2 best freshmen off the team, and 1 played varsity and 1 played JV. And like Doug said, the freshmen, not like our freshman league is bad. Like, there's really everybody in our league, you see them freshmen, you see them JV, and then sometimes they jump to varsity, but you see these kids grow. I thought, and then those, I think, and there's something in the water. Our freshman team went undefeated in the football team last year as well. So it's a solid class across the board.
What's going on at West Potomac, Dave? Because it used to be, the schools over there, like Mount Vernon, they were getting smaller and smaller every year. Is the population of West Potomac growing? Are you getting more? Are you getting a better demographic that wants to play basketball and football?
No, we're growing. a better demographic that wants to play? No, but we are growing. Yeah, we have more people than we've had, but we got new neighborhoods coming up. But I don't. I mean, with me, it's just a connection. I mean, these kids that are playing that I knew them when they were at my camp, when they were in the 4th grade and 5th grade. You know, they just eventually just got here, followed the natural path. I don't think it's so it remains to be seen by Mount Vernon. You know, so you're saying Mount Vernon's in our area, so I don't know if they're gotten better this year. That they're class 26. I mean, their freshman class I saw this year was pretty good.
They've gotten a lot better. I saw them on Saturday. They've gotten a lot better.
That's good. Yeah.
Hard not to, but yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Concord, and so let's put some pressure on Mike Desmond, who didn't show up tonight. We mentioned earlier he's got two transfers from O'Connell. He's got a guy from New Zealand, obviously Jordan Scott, one of the top recruits in the junior class. So obviously they lost one player, their top 10, I think, from last year. They're going to be very strong. But what about the district and as a whole?
Coach, probably the best guy to ask about this. I'm kind of like the other guys here. Like, I know my team, obviously South Lake's had like 4 or 5 guys on first team all district. So they're all coming back. You bring in some transfers. They're obviously going to be a good team. And Jordan Scott's a great player. I mean, out of that, Des a good coach. I give him a hard time. He's a good coach. He does his work. It's going to be a tough night with them for anybody who plays them. But I know Chantilly has a couple guys that can play. I saw them at Virginia Wesleyan. Rodney's doing a good job with those guys.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Oakton yet. We're young. I mean, we have a lot of young guys, sophomores that are playing for us. We're returning one starter, and he was the freshman last year. Madison lost a couple guys to transfer, but Roller always does a great job, and everybody on the panel knows that, he's probably done his best work with teams that didn't have a load of talent on it. So looking forward to that match with him as well. So it's just, it's kind of like South Lakes is strong, and they've got the reputation of being on the bully in the district, and then everybody else is trying to find their way right now.
Yeah. When you talk about Madison, Coach, is it helpful in your building when you have such great teams in other sports, like, for example, Coach Sherman, Patriot's good in everything. Madison is fantastic in everything. Is that helpful to the basketball program, or is it distracting?
It's helpful. I mean, Madison is a product of great youth sports in the Vienna area.
They are.
In youth football, youth basketball, baseball, it stands for itself. What Pudge has done over there in the Vienna area. But I mean, it's just the youth leagues prepare those kids for high school. And they even have kids at private school. I mean, not the kids that just left, but the kid Derek Dixon at Gonzaga is a Madison kid. He should be, he's zoned to go to Madison.
Wow.
He's lighting up. He's got a lot of Division I offers. So it's like, you talk about kids who are in private school that could be in public school, you got to throw him in there as well. And they would be pretty ridiculous. So, I mean, this is a product of good sports community and also good coaches in the building.
Yeah.
I wonder if their youth program is the oldest youth program in the area. I mean, they're the Vienna youth.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good in every their youth program is good in like all of them. Baseball. I mean, I think their baseball was in the state finals recently, or maybe last year.
They go series or regional, something like that. I saw.
Yeah, and then like their little leagues, each one of their like little league teams was in the state tournament, like, and all the way down. Yeah, I mean, their basketball teams are always really good. I don't know.
Yeah, they won. Boys lacrosse has won the last 2 state titles. Girls basketball.
Girls basketball on the run. Yeah, they're killing.
And girls 4 in a row for the girls. Like,
yeah, 4. Is it 4?
4.
It's 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't nobody be talking about that though. That's weird.
No, they don't.
No, I think because of COVID, I think people kind of forgot what was going on. But Coach Stone, I mean, she did a heck of a job last year because they had talent. There's no doubt about it. But for her to rebuild that team after losing the twins, and they lost a big, I think at least one big girls, maybe 2 they lost. And by the end of last year, they were playing as good as they were the year before. But
we all just named like 5 or 6 sports that they're in the state finals or won the state finals.
They went to the state championship.
And we probably forgot like field hockey or something that or girls lacrosse or something that we're not sure about. Yeah, that's a youth. That's a youth thing.
Not to mention, they just had a kid drafted in the top 15, 16 in Major League Baseball?
Oh, yeah.
The top three, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, was he that high? I knew he was in the first round.
I think
but
he was like I think he might have been top
He was
3 or
5.
5.
I think he was 5, Sherman. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
had a
top
late
5.
one.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
either way, that's absurd.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We'll get back to the Concord in a second, but Coach Poindexter, with Hayfield, their teams have gotten better in other sports as well. The football team is doing better. Soccer team got to state last year. Do you feel is there any sense that people begrudge the success of the basketball program? Like it came too easy? Or I remember I was at a game last year and I was disappointed because I said, "Where's the crowd?" I mean, some of the games it was packed, but I felt like this is a historic team. Do you feel the love over at Hayfield by the crowd and all in the student body? What's that?
I really don't want to address that, but I will say that they show out to the games that they need to show out to. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I go to almost every Madison football game because I just love the environment there. I mean, they just support. When you got that kind of crowd support, it makes the game interesting. So I think when you have success, you hope that you get support. So let's get back to Concord. So obviously Madison is going to be have a tough. We talked about Westfield. Centerville's still probably going to be rebuilding another year, and then Oakton and Madison. I guess that's all 6, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, we got. Anyone have any other comments about the Concord? So why don't we go to the
Kevin's team is going to be better than he's saying. That we've seen them a number of times this offseason. Yeah,
they are good.
Yeah, well, good. That'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. So, well, let's go to the national district. I'm sure your opponents weren't unhappy to see all those kids graduate, but you got a whole bunch of new ones coming in. So, Carlos, who do you think's your main competition? Is it going to be Edison again? I know Edison has some kids transfer. Yeah. I
mean, I think it's still going to be Edison 9 times out of 10. They still got the Teddy Morgan kid. And
he came back?
Yeah. I mean, I saw him play yesterday. And then the point guard, Saunders, he's really talented. Yeah. Can get a bucket, can shoot, can score it. They had a transfer that transferred in. Another little short guard that I saw that I don't know his name, but he transferred in. So they got like three pieces that I know that's going to make them do what they do. They're not as, they were really big last year, so they're not as big as they've been in the past. But you never know if they got any guys on the football field that's going to come in and help them. But that's like, when I tell you, yesterday was the first time I've even been. No, it's twice. I've been to the fall league twice. It was yesterday and then the first day. So I haven't really gotten a chance to see all the different teams that's in our conference. So I don't know who really is, what those players look like. But I do know Jefferson returns a whole lot of players, and they got the big 6'7" kid that's going to make them, they'll be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in our conference. Annandale, Annandale does what they're trying to do. Mac has been trying to get those guys to play a new style, and hopefully, they do well. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not good with trying to talk about my conference because I don't know anything about them. I just try to worry about my team for the most part and who I'm gonna see in the Patriot district.
I think you wrote all the team names down this year, so Coach Sherman couldn't tease you about forgetting the names.
I mean, I know all the team names, but I don't know the players or nothing. But TJ, I think TJ is going to be like a dark horse in our conference this year, and they can probably win a couple games in the regional tournament if they play if they play like how they've been playing.
Yeah. So.
But that's all I got for you, for real.
Anyone else want to jump in on the national?
I haven't seen Lewis. I haven't seen Lewis at all. I don't even think they're not in there. Are they in there, Tony? They're not in there, right? Yeah. I haven't seen them, so I don't know what they have. Kevin got them dudes hiding somewhere, playing somewhere else.
No, not the national, but I ain't mentioned Courtney over at Woodbridge High School. He always does a good job with his guys. They always play really hard, man. So that was one team I just thought of when we're sitting here.
Hey, I will say, Tuscarora is sneaky good. I watched them play yesterday, and they're in mid-season form too.
They're not sneaky good. They're good. Mike's done a great job with them. They're good.
Coach, what's his last name, Coach Bentley? What's
Newkirk.
coach?
Newkirk. Mike Newkirk.
Yeah,
I
we're
like
excited.
watching them
We're
play
excited
yesterday.
to travel. We travel all the way out there to play them.
Oh, is that right? Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the outlets first, and then go ahead.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with Broad Run. I mean, that's kind of like a historical program, is usually pretty strong, but they seem like they got some kids that can play. I mean, we played them in fall league. That was a good game. It was an overtime game, and I watched them play against somebody last week. I can't remember who.
Oh,
but
they smacked Annandale.
Yeah, they have a nice group. They're pretty good. Like they got some big kids that can shoot the ball. A couple guards that are nice players. I mean, they're good.
Yeah. I saw Riverside beat Stonebridge like by 40 today. And I mean, Stonebridge, I guess most of their athletes play football, not surprisingly so. And last year they had some really good basketball players who played football. But I was impressed by Riverside. Riverside, I don't know them to be a strong program, but they definitely have talent. Tuscarora, we mentioned them before. I guess they're undefeated in football as well. So I guess
we played Riverside at the South County camp a couple of weeks ago. They're a solid team. They have a lot of guys. We played them last year in the holiday tournament out in Charlottesville, and they have a number of guys that were back. They got a shooter that's really good. They got some size. Yeah, I think they've a lot of those kids have gotten a lot better.
I heard they got a D1. They got a D1 kid over there.
They're
basketball player.
That's what Stitzel says.
A basketball player.
You said Stitzel said that?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Come on, listen, everybody know. Don't act like we don't know. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, they got some kids that can play, but we might be hyping them a little bit too much.
Yeah. Well, guys, well, this is great. Let's end by going through each coach's team, and just tell us a little bit about your schedule and what you're looking at. What are some of the key moments in your season? Obviously, you don't look ahead. Every game is important. And we'll go in reverse order. Why don't we start at the bottom, Coach Craig? Are you going down to Hampton Roads again this year? And what does your schedule look like?
So well, I mean, obviously we have the Patriot schedule. Our non-district schedule is we got South Lakes. We open up with South Lakes at our place.
Wow, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, they got a lot of horses. I don't know. We'll see. And then we got Riverside in the Red Jenkins tournament. The other two teams are Edison and Madison. So it should be a good foursome. Riverside, us, Edison, and Madison. Should be some good games. With that group. We have let's see. We're going up to Pennsylvania for a holiday tournament. We got Carlos down at his place on December 15th. And we got we're playing McLean at their place on a Saturday. And then we're playing out at Osborne's MLK Day event. I believe we're playing Potomac. That's scheduled right now. So our non-district schedule, there are not a whole lot of cupcakes in there. It should be a lot of good games. And then, as our team, we got you wanted players too, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we got the two Donovan brothers back. It's 267. Sean recently committed to Franklin and Marshall to play.
Oh, congratulations.
Bryce has actually made a decision, but he has not announced yet. So I'll let him do that over the next couple of weeks. And then we have our four juniors, Theo Burke and Noah Limbago, David Gantimer and Will Taylor, who all played big minutes for us. We have another senior who started for us last year, Ethan Conklin, who's a very good three-point shooter. And we have some other kids in the program we're excited about. We have an incoming freshman that I think is going to be a big contributor for us, who's got a chance to be a really, really good player. So we're kind of excited about our group, and we'll see how it all kind of blends together. But yeah, we're kind of excited to get started here.
Coach Jason Coleman gave you a nice compliment last night. He says, I like what Coach Craig does when he has a really good team. He coaches them the same way. He doesn't let them. He expects them to run the same kind of patterns and whatever. When you're trying to outcoach the other guy, he has the same expectations. So he likes that about the way you coach. So that's
a nice compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a nice compliment. So sometimes I think the incentive is just let the boys throw the ball out there, let the boys play. But it's going to come a time when you're going to face teams on your level, I guess, right? So, let's go to Coach Harris next. In Westfield. Tell us a little bit more about your team if you want, but tell us about some of your key moments this season.
Yeah, so I'll start with the guys that are returning to us. Isaiah Brown's a sophomore. He's a lone returning starter.
That's Doyle's son, right?
No, that's Doyle's nephew.
That's his nephew. Okay.
He's a junior. Isaiah's his dad.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's picked up where he left off last year. He's scoring the ball for us. He's handling the ball a lot more. Becoming more of a leader, which is great. Our big guy, Braden Norris, he's back. He's a junior. He's made a lot of strides this offseason. He's done pretty well on the fall league, and team camp is getting better every day. Logan Dom was our sixth man last year. He's a senior. He's like an Energizer Bunny, Tasmanian Devil, hustle guy. Offensively skilled. It kind of gets lost in the game sometimes. He needs to assert himself a little more, but he's a great kid, a hard worker. And then our new guys, we got Matthias Lee, Will Robinson, and Jamon Price. They're all sophomores. They play hard, they play tough, they work hard in the weight room in the gym. I mean, they're great kids to add to our program and kind of, infuse that energy boost and work ethic to the rest of the guys. In our schedule, I mean, we non-district wise, we play some of Liberty, we got WNL, Wakefield. We play Fairfax, Yorktown. We're going to the Kyle Honore tip-off on December 16th.
Great.
We play Freedom, Woodbridge, 21st. We play at PBI December 5th. And then we go to DeMatha on December 10th, and we play St. John's from DC.
You're playing Paul VI, Coach?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Throw my guys in the fire, so we want to be challenged.
Yeah. Who you cheering for that night?
My team 100%.
I want to ask. I got a lot of questions about that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be great, man. That's gonna be awesome.
I hear Coach Harris has a wonderful scouting report on at least one of Fall Six.
I've been watching PBI for 4 years, 5 years now. I mean, but they have the kind of talent where what they're running is, work.
Listen, if Darren is listening, tell his mother to prepare the food the day before. Let Dad touch his plate.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Best of luck this season. Coach Bentley, what about, we talked a little bit about your team, but why don't you break it down and tell us about some of the key moments you're looking at this season?
Well, I think I might have messed up because, when you're trying to get your schedule together and you're trying to get it all together, get the teams, get the 22 in, I didn't really pay attention to some of the scheduling I had. I might have messed up. It could even make or break us. We're starting off our first game this season in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going down to Charlotte.
Oh, that's awesome.
Play against a team called Olympic High School. My athletic director is from Charlotte. We came up with the idea of let's get out of town and traveling. So we called up some schools down there. And so we're going to go down there. And then when we get back from Charlotte, North Carolina, we head to, we'll be playing Episcopal and I guess it's the Alexandria, some Bishop Ireton. Somebody called me up about that, my man Marvin, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get in that. Don't know anything about Episcopal, but I know we'll be in trouble. Then we come back after that, and we got the Wizard in Metris. We got Lake Braddock, and I've been living in Burke for almost 20 years, and I've only played Lake Braddock one time in my career. Mm-hmm. So that was actually pretty good. Get some neighbors to come out and go to the game or whatever, it'd be fun against Lake Braddock. Then it gets crazy because that's a Tuesday night. Then that Friday night, we play against Alexandria City. And then we play South County on Saturday. And then on Monday, we play Westfield. So if you're paying attention, I didn't say anything about it's Friday, Saturday, Monday. So we're playing those three top teams without a day of practice. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be tough for us. And then we come right out
practice.
Yeah.
Talk about practice.
yeah. And then right after that, we start our first district game, which will be against McLean. Another tough team. So before our Christmas tournament, we could really be record-wise, could be really bad, or we could come out of this thing looking really good. Then after that, I'm trying to look. We go into my George Long Christmas tournament, which has always been really good. This year, we've got some really good teams again coming. We've got, of course, ourselves, WNL, Colonial Forge, Falls Church, South County, Battlefield, Colgan, and Oscar Smith.
Oh, okay.
So they're coming up. So Christmas tournament is going to be really good to be in. And then also we play, I believe we're going to play Edison in Dermia's tournament out at Osborne. So get an opportunity to coach against one of my guys that,
Oh, that's right.
for
Yeah.
a while. So it'll be really good. So then after that is just our district. So it's nothing easy as well for us as well. Like you talked about the Liberty District, anybody could win that. Marshall hands down is the favorite. But any given night, anything can happen with what's going on. But I think our schedule is really good. In the past when I've pushed and challenged my teams with these type of teams, I think it's benefited us. And my goal is to be in a regional tournament. We didn't go last year for the first time in 10 years. That stings. So when you start talking about that segue into your players, really, I had a team that didn't make it to the regional tournament in 10 years. I really don't want nobody back from that team. Be honest. But I do have some really good guys that I'm happy about having. I started off talking about BJ Willis, who's my longtime assistant coach. Buck, everybody knows Buck. He's not even my assistant coach. He's like the co-head coach of Wakefield. So his son is his senior year. And we went through times where his sophomore year on varsity, I was like, man, if you don't get this dude out of the game, to where now I'm like, where is he? He needs to get back in the game. Like, I don't want to play a game without BJ on the court. He's a top defensive guy. His dad is a little mad because he doesn't score the ball like he used to in high school. But defensively, one of the goals that BJ has, he wants to be the player of the year defensively. A lot of kids don't talk about, being a defensive player of the year. They always talk about the offensive player of the year or whatever it may be. But his goal is to be the defensive player of the year, and he's well on track of that. He's always around. He's just a really good instincts for the game and a very high basketball IQ. Then I talked about Ricardo Snyder, one of our top shooters we've had for 3 years, been on varsity as a sophomore, got injured last year, last game of the season, had surgery. He's a few months out. We're hoping to just get him back, in time from some serious play. But we'll see how that's going. His recovery is going really well. He's very positive. He's actually coaching our summer league team. He coached our fall league team, and he's actually getting to see a different side of it. And he's, shaking his head like me and Willis over there on the sideline because he's seeing what the guys are doing wrong half the time. And then I started a freshman last year, the last 11 games of the season, Jeremiah Poole, who is a very talented young man. As a freshman playing, you're just up there and you're happy. But now this year, he and I have been talking about being in attack mode, and he's looking to score the ball a little bit more. He's a sophomore this year, so looking for really good things out of him. And then we've got some other guys. I had a sophomore that played a lot last year, started the first 11 games. Gabe Henneman, he'll be back for us, getting some time for us. And then I have a kid that was on our JV team last year. He's about 6'7" now. Really good around the rim, can make layups and things like that. And then on the defense end, can alter shots. Cooper Adar, he's going to be a significant part for us. Then we have two guys that moved in that are pretty talented young men, just trying to get them acclimated to the things that we're doing. Carlton Young is going to be a talented player for us. And then Miles Hancock is going to be another kid for us that's going to play really well for us. But, it's a little different when you have like Dave and a couple other guys that have that experience coming back and togetherness. Nothing's like that togetherness. So you can bring in all the players you want to bring in and look great on paper, but if you don't have that togetherness, it doesn't really do anything. So that's what we're working on right now with all the off-season stuff, weight room, track, and fall leagues and things like that. We're trying to build that togetherness because once we get that together, I think we'll be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck. And I'm glad you didn't bend to South Lake's pressure and fire Buck. I think it's great.
Never.
It's great to have Buck around. Also, your daughter, I love watching, seeing the photos of her cheering. Does she cheer basketball, or is she a dancer for basketball as well, or is it just football from Miami?
Yeah, she's at the University of Miami. She's a sophomore. She's the captain of the dance team. So they have cheerleaders and they have dance team. So she's on the dance team at a very good institution. She really loves it. She's flourishing. And then I got an opportunity to go down and see Bill Courtney last weekend. And Bill, I got to go to 2 practices. So it's really good when I get to go see my daughter. I can also still be, doing some basketball stuff as well too. So it's really good. And then next week I'll go get to see my best friend at Indiana. So go to see Kenny. They got Midnight Madness, and I'll get to sit in on 2 practices there next weekend. So trying to get around. I see Carlos posting all the stuff, all the practice he had. I think he like 5 up in me right now. So I got to get one more practice in from a college level to try to beat Carlos because he's everywhere.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that sounds like a good time going to Miami. So,
oh, it's really good, really good.
So, well, thanks, Coach. Well, Coach Houston, you talked a little bit about going to Charlottesville, and Coach Craig spilled the beans about some of your team. But why don't you tell us more about some more key moments of this season, and also maybe tell us more about the rest of your team.
We're definitely doing the Charlottesville thing. We actually opened up down there with North Stafford. But we play Langley and Forest Park. So I don't know if everybody else, I don't know how the conferences are, but ours, we play 2 conference games before we leave for the holiday tournament. And then we play. So I know back in the day, we used to play all our non-conference games in the first half and then, come back, but we have it kind of mixed in there a little bit. I think I'm really pleased with our schedule. We got Mount Vernon in there also, is rivalry, neighborhood rivalry game. But I have a couple, returning kids. Chris Morrison is a sophomore returning point guard. He was all conference last year. He started all season. I thought that he was really instrumental in what we did. He wasn't just a kid that I just was hoping that he could just keep it steady. He had a lot of responsibilities, and I thought, he was really tough. He's had a really good summer. BJ Nkrumah is a senior who has been a 4-year guy on varsity. He was a freshman starter during the COVID year. So he's certainly, looking like it now. Definitely the big brother out there who knows all the answers. We've got a sophomore, Justin Edwards, who played JV last year, but he's probably had the highest ceiling this offseason. He's just really, and all 3 of those guys, I really believe are going to be tough players in the conference because they're both all two-way players. They defend as elite defenders, and then they are at one point will be asked to maybe be our leading scorer at some point throughout the year. We got a couple bigs, kids off the football team that I think are going to round out. Mason Hopper's on my football team. He's our wide receiver. Ethan Green is a returning senior. I'm really looking forward to, what we have over there. I mean, our league is really good, and we have won the conference back to back. So, I've challenged the guys with, if you had an opportunity. Nobody has won 3 times in the Patriot since TC did it back in, I think, 2009. So, I mean, it's something that I'm certainly challenging them to do. It's not the end of the world, of course, but I mean, that's what we're training for. So, we know the teams in the league are really good. I think every single night, there's no nights off. Every coach coaches differently. So you have to prepare. And then for us, what we try to do is just be as good as we can be with what we do. I think we're defending at a much higher level than I expected us to be at this point. And then I have multiple scorers. So, I think we're gonna be a tough out. I like the kids. I liked what we've done as a group. They seem to get along. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Coach. I also like your traveler. You guys travel well when you guys play on the road. You bring some big voices in the crowd. You guys bring a good environment with you. At least when I've seen you guys play on the road. So look forward to catching a game this year. Well, Coach Carlos, everyone feels sorry for you because you graduated so many good players from last year. We know it's a down year on Telegraph Road. But also we talked a few weeks ago. I know that left-hand kid, I think Jackson, he's coming off injury. How's he doing? And tell us a little bit about your squad and some of your key moments this year.
Yeah. You talking about Jalil?
Yeah, Jalil.
Yeah. So Jalil's hurt right now.
He's still hurt?
He got hurt in March. The jury's still out if he's going to play this year.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, so we'll see if he plays. But right now, it's looking like that he might not play.
That's too bad.
But if he does play, that would shore up my point guard situation that I've been complaining about. But if not, if he's going to keep it moving, we got 6 seniors returning. 2 of them played. I had a kid that tore his meniscus last year, Ryan Payne, who's back now healthy. He's one of our lead guards. Then you got Owen Pottenberg, 6'7", 6'8" center who's been getting better and better each day. I'm loving how he's been progressing, getting bigger, getting stronger, finishing decently around the basket. Then you got Andy Ramirez, who, in my opinion, is our best overall player.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you know, kid who, and you keep in mind, like, this kid's only been playing basketball for 3 years, and the way he's gotten better over the past 2 years is amazing. And I'm looking forward to him have one of them like play of the year type, for the conference at least, play of the year type years. Then Sean Burton is another senior who's going to come in. He doesn't start for us right now, but he's going to come in and give us some good minutes. You know, he could back up on. He can play the 5-4-3. You know, those range. Good defensive player, and can knock down open looks. And then I got 2 other kids, Evan Sesson, who was actually on Tony Bentley's Pro Look AAU team. Is coming along. He came a long way, and hopefully he has a significant role for us this upcoming year. And then last, you got Demarius Duncan, who's he reminds me of Zach Randolph. That's the best way I can put it. Left-hander, don't jump, but one inch off the ground, but he finishes good around the basket. So those are my seniors that I wanted to talk about. Then you got the young boy, Phoenix Card, lefty, can score the ball in bunches. 2026 kid, right along with, they actually was on the same AU team. Chris Morrison and Phoenix were on the same AU team. So talented, like I said, 2026 class. So you got him, and then I got 2 brothers, Aaron and Alex McFarland, who transferred in last year, but they were unable to play because Nolan said that we had too much going on over there. So he said that they could practice. So they practice all from January on, and then like now they're starting to come into their own a little bit. And I'm looking forward to both of those guys having big years for us. Then who else you got? I'm probably missing somebody, man. We have a bunch of guys that can do some things. It's just I'm waiting. I need to see it happen when the lights come on for real. So it's hard for me to talk about these guys until they actually show improve. So I big them up all on Twitter all day long, but now they got to show me something.
Yeah. Well, I got a feeling, Coach, you're gonna have a lot of fun this year. It's gonna be a different season than last year, but I think it'll be fun being an underdog for once. That'll be
yeah. And then we play South Lakes first game of the season. We go down. We play Woodside. We play Patriot. We got John Marshall. We got Gwen Park. We play West Catholic from out Philly. Who else we got? And it's either going to be, and our other games either going to be Bishop Ireton or Jackson Reed or Coolidge. So I'm trying to figure out that last game. Hopefully it could be one. Hopefully it'll be one of those 3 teams. I was trying to get the Bishop Ireton game, and waiting for Dwayne Bryant to say yes. So if he sees this, don't duck.
Well, good luck, Coach. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how you guys do and how you mold the new guys. What's that?
Julian, you just gonna move on?
What's that?
You just gonna move on like that?
You can't just move on.
Okay. You talking about Dwayne Bryant?
He said, "Don't duck." I'm saying it live and direct. Don't even try.
I just want the game, man. I just want the game. You win and lose, I don't care.
Oh, I can't wait to reach with this.
Coach, that was the game. There was all those highlights on Twitter a few years ago, right? You guys were dunking on.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
that was a great moment in time.
Yeah, so he may want to duck you, Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Again, best of luck. Well, Coach Sherman, we talked a few weeks ago. And obviously.
Oh, we got Woodson. I forgot. We got Woodson on December 15th.
Yeah. Coach Craig was writing that down. So, okay.
That's his afterthought game.
It's definitely not afterthought, especially with that point guard you got. Sheesh.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, Coach Sherman, again, we know you have the big 3. So tell us a little bit more about your team, and then I think, like Coach Carlos and the rest of the guys, you got a stacked schedule as well.
Well, obviously, coming back with Desmond and Isaiah from last year's team, and You feel like it was yesterday. No, don't mind my son in the background is playing video games. So he's screaming at the video game. But anyways, coming back, feels like it was yesterday that they were the young guys and we were talking about all their potential in class 2024. But here they are having to be the big dogs and obviously adding Tay Barber to that mix. You have three guys that can put the ball in the basket. Have played a lot of games and with Desmond, Isaiah, and Tay obviously being a new piece, so trying to figure that out. Abe Halim is a kid that is going to be very good for us. He's going to benefit from the fact that those three are going to get a lot of the attention, but he's in a different situation. He'd probably be one of the top scorers around. But he's going to have a lot of games where he's going to play very well. Mekhi Dillard, he's playing football right now, so he's out, but he is another one of those 2024 guys that played a lot when he was young. That is going to be a really big time glue guy for us. Probably one of our, if not our best defender, excellent rebounder, and just a really good passer. Ryan Keenan is another senior for us that is going to help us out a lot. He's a very good change of pace sort of kid that comes in, knows what he's supposed to do, going to take charges, going to get rebounds when he's supposed to. Another one of our seniors, Trey Penix, very good defender. And, our 2026 class, before I get there, just talking about our juniors really quick, Carter Crumity, Jeremy Hanton, Ethan Kachow, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, I'm sure I'm doing, or Kaku, I think it is. It's one of the two. I always mess it up. Those kids are very talented, but our 2026 class, going along with what everybody's saying, it's very deep and very good. It's just me trying to figure out how to help them be successful. We had 4 freshmen start on JV last year, and we had 2 freshmen that were on varsity last season. We had a kid that came in that's a sophomore that's a very good player, kid named Elijah that's very talented. So just trying to figure out how that group of kids can figure out how they're going to contribute to our program and what that's going to look like this season. I think is going to be important for us, but it's they all have their positives. Carson Cook is a kid that his oldest brother is the all-time leading scorer in Patriot history. He's the only 1,000-point scorer to ever play at Patriot. So, and then his middle brother played for me when I got to Patriot. J.P. Rivera, very athletic, physical kid. Sean Madrigal, Noah Conrad, Mike Maines, and then we got the point guard that backed up Nasir last year, Kai Wilcox, who I think has had one of the best off seasons of any of our players. He's put on 15 pounds since last year. Will be a sophomore. So, looking forward to seeing how those guys can grow and alongside with one of our biggest senior classes that we've had in a while. So it's going to be interesting. Our schedule, isn't going to, do us any favors as far as giving us breaks. I mean, we're going to actually scrimmage against Jackson Reed. So that'll be good for us. Possibly Highland too, but we got to wait and see. We open up with Woodside down at Princess Anne, so we know we're not going to get any calls down there. We're going to play in the Kyle Honore tip-off on the 9th of December, and we play Stonebridge for that. We're going to play Sidwell Friends on December 16th, and then right after that, turn around and play South Lakes at home on December 19th. And then about 11 days later, we're going to go down to Hampton December 30th. Well, Los obviously talked about us playing. We're going to play them in the Capital Hoops Classic game that we did on TV. So that'll be a televised game at South Lakes on January 20th. And that'll be a really fun event for us, obviously. Forest Park, we're going to play as well. And then obviously we know the teams that are in our district. So I feel really good about our schedule. Hopefully, it's one of those things that helps us build and get ready for the times in February and hopefully into March. But I like our chances. I like our guys, and like Doug said earlier, it's once you kind of get your hands on them and can practice every day, you feel like things are going to be a little bit different. But at the same time, I think that we're progressing in the right direction regardless of that.
But from the outside looking in, one thing I would think about your team, a key would be can Mekhi Dillard give you more of what Jay Randall and Mekhi brought you last year? I thought Jay was such a really just a great player, all around player. Not necessarily a 20-point scorer, 24, but just does a little bit of everything. Is that the kind of that's the kind of year Mekhi's going to have for you this year?
I think he can. I don't think he's going to be as explosive as an athlete as Jay is, and obviously not the the output that he could do offensively. But a lot of those things that Jay did, as far as being, the grimy guy, taking sort of care of those sort of dirty sort of things. Like I said, Ryan Keenan is another kid that will do that for us as well. So, it's not going to be as pretty as Jay might have made it look. We're talking about a college basketball player here. So, but I hope that we got a few guys that can contribute that and help us along the way.
Yeah. Well, one thing, guys, and we can end with this, is that you guys all have very interesting schedules. I mean, your regular season in your
I left out one too. I'm sorry, Julian. I left out one. We're playing Riverdale Baptist as well.
Oh, okay, that'll be fun. Yeah, but again, your regular seasons are very interesting games. You have these can't miss matchups. Woodson, Hayfield, go on and on and on. And and the regular season is the postseason is such a letdown because it's the games we've already played over and over again. Do you guys need these regular seasons not only to get your teams ready for the postseason, but also does it make it much more fun and keep it interesting for you guys to coach?
Maybe, but I certainly wouldn't call it a letdown just because you got to play a team another time. Once the playoffs comes, like, of course you don't want to play the same team over and over, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. I really, at least in our Occoquan region, I don't know how they're gonna change it and make it different. I'm not sure. I don't like how they did it last year in our league, at least. Like the teams that we were playing at the same time. Like some teams we were playing in a district championship game, and another team was playing in a regional quarterfinal game on the same night. Like
just to explain, Coach House, what they succeeded last year is every team qualified for regionals, no matter where you finish in districts or districts tournament. And if you lost early in the district tournament, you played almost a loser's bracket. You played right into the regional tournament at the same time where the teams that advanced in districts were playing. It was very strange. It actually worked out okay. They did it in soccer also. We had some pretty good matchups, but it was quite strange.
I didn't think it worked out okay in the sense of you got the boys and girls, so we were pulling fans, right? So we played on the same night that our girls were playing, and I mean for me, my daughter plays, so I would have wanted to be there, but it was like certainly, I didn't think it was right for the students to have to pick because inevitably they're going to pick to go to the boys game, and I don't think we're talking about equity. That I think that could be thought about more. But no, I don't like playing anybody 4 or 5 times, but it just seems like the best teams end up seeing each other late. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyone else have any comments or even closing comments?
I mean, I heard that, maybe y'all know, but they was talking about that up at the JV League today that only 12 teams is going to make our region tournament this year. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
So y'all did hear that? Okay.
The field hockey apparently is modeling it now. So I think you have to be in the top 6 of our conference at the end of the year. They had to do a coin flip. 2 teams had to do a coin flip. So I haven't seen the actual brackets to see what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Liberty and Concord get it right. I mean, at least you have to win the first round of your district game or get a bye to get to regionals. So therefore, I mean, there is some meaning to the regular season, to get that bye and also to get a good seeding. So at least there's some, 8 teams makes a little bit more sense than 12 or 16.
Everybody does something different, man. It's ridiculous. Like I think in Sherman joint, they just do the regular season. And right? Ain't that how that go?
You mean if we win the regular season, we're automatic 1 seed for the region?
Yeah,
right.
But Coach, there are teams in Prince William that didn't qualify for districts last year. Right?
This year, our district's only taking the top 4 from what I hear, and I think that's just stupid.
I just feel like it's all everybody's doing different stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was always like that. Like Bentley, do you know? Was it always like that? I ain't mean that say that you old enough.
Oh, he called you. Oh man, he called you.
Dave could answer that as well too, but no, it's definitely not like that. With again, y'all said it earlier on the show, football and all these other sports. And what's good for football ain't good for basketball. What's good for soccer ain't good for hockey. I mean, but they just lump everything and just make decisions and don't tell anybody anything except for we got to go along with it. So as I'm getting older, I'm just going along with whatever happens and biding my time out.
Well, I'm truly the oldest guy on the call. So when I played, only 2 teams. There's 4 regions, and the whole state was the same. Unless if you had an odd number of districts in a region, you may have to do things a little bit different. But only 2 teams would go to the regional tournament. So that could be the district winner. The district winner was guaranteed to go, but they have a playback game. So if the district winner was different than the tournament winner, they play an extra game the Saturday night after the district championship, which would be huge because it would be the same game all over again. So it would just draw huge crowds. So when only 2 teams went to region and only 1 team went to state from every region, I mean, nobody missed those games. When you walked into Robinson for regionals, there were 6,000 people in there. I mean, there were no seats, and then they just every year they watered it down more and more. And I mean, look, it's still great. I love high school basketball, but they've done everything they can to let everyone win a trophy. So
they really are. But I think, like I said, what we were talking about earlier is that the amount of talent and kids that can play. I mean, we touched on a little bit. The game we played against Los and them over Saturday. I mean, it reminded me of like when you see those summer league games or like those big AU games that happen and there's no seats and everybody's just standing around it. I mean, they had to move people off the sideline and everybody was bunched up down on the baselines. Kids, when you went to go get a ball that was going out of bounds, you fell into like 5 people. So it was really cool to see. And even our game against South County the week before that, I thought there was a lot of people there that watched that. So, it sucks, but I feel like we're bringing the excitement of what public school, high school basketball is as far as the interest from like just the random fan. I mean, I can't tell you how many people were at that game on Saturday that just heard about it and decided that they were going to come watch a random fall league game out in Lorton, Virginia. And it's not even people that are parents of our kids. So I thought that was very interesting.
Nah, hey, Tony gets a lot of credit, man. He put together a whole bunch of good matchups over these 8 weeks, man. He put together a lot of great matchups that you're like, oh, you really want to go see those games. Like, yeah. So I mean, he do get a lot of credit for that.
Thank you, Lowe's. I went from the game of the week to the game of the hour.
Yeah, he did.
And every hour,
I noticed that.
A game.
It really is though.
So many good games. I'm just trying to make up something to get the people to come in. And I apologize about last week, but I got to give Mike Robinson some credit for stepping up and hosting our tournament. Wakefield decided to have their homecoming football game on Saturday and told me at the last minute that we couldn't do fall league at Wakefield. So thank Mike and South County and his staff and his players and everybody that was involved in it. And that small atmosphere, I know it was great because I was only there for a few minutes, but I saw the videos of, y'all game, which was unbelievable, which is great, man. So we're back at Wakefield next weekend and we'll get some more space for you guys. But it is some really good matchups in the fall, man. And I hope that helps everybody out. And even like the teams like Tuscarora, and even Woodside, who comes all the way from, I'm sorry, not Woodside.
Woodgrove.
Yeah, Woodgrove. I'm sorry, KP. That comes all the way from Percyville, Virginia, man, to play in the tournament, to get to play against some of the good competition, some of the guys like you guys, man. It's a really good league. I like it. You guys do a great job of making sure everybody's there and getting your fans there, but it's really good. So I love the fall league, man, because it's gives you guys an opportunity to basically tell your kids you got 8 games that I'm looking at you. So there's no excuses. When tryouts start, and we go right up to the day before tryouts. And so there's really no excuses when tryouts come, so I'm excited about the fall league every year.
Yeah. I mean, again,
I'd like to ask, you were talking about the tournament, the playoffs. I mean, I've been around like a lot of us enough to know that first round tournament game back in the day. I mean, if you didn't win that district tournament game, your season was over. And then everybody that moved on to regionals, at least they earned themselves a right. They won their way there. Now that's not saying though, of course, there have been teams that didn't win the first game. Now that it's different, and then we're able to go on and make some moves in regionals. I just wonder from you guys, because I mean I've certainly lost that first game in overtime, and that sucks. It's like doesn't matter how good your year was, if you lose that game, it's like But I wonder, what do you guys think about going back to the format where you win yourself to the tournament, to the regionals?
When you go back to two or four teams.
Four teams back in the day. It was 8. Pretty much every district had 8 teams, right? So you match up and you play, and then the regionals were the top 4 that made it out. And then you keep it moving. But now it's obviously we got teams in regionals that haven't won but one district game all year. Or I think one team a couple years ago didn't win any district games all year and was in the regional tournament.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like my team last year, we lost. We didn't deserve to be in the regional tournament. So we should have been home. So I mean, when you take a team that has only won one game in a conference and then they're in the regionals and you're sitting home, I mean, it is what it is, because like you said, nowadays is everybody gets an opportunity to win a trophy or whatever. But I really feel like only our top 4 teams should advance. I mean, why are we wasting time with number 1 playing against number 8 or whatever it may be? We already know what's going to happen. Then the number 1 team, one of your starters is going to end up getting hurt or something like that. Now you don't have them. So it's like, I mean, it's all kinds of different things and ways of doing it. But I truly believe in like us last year. We were not good enough. We did not win. Put your stuff in the wash machine and hang it up for next year. That's just how I feel. Not like, oh, we still get to play next week. No, we shouldn't have played like we did last year. So
the regular season has to have meaning. I mean, that's it has to have. I mean, last year in soccer, Oakton was 0-10 in the regular season, so they had to play a 3 versus 6 game to get to regionals. They won, and so they were 0-10, and they beat the 3rd seed. I forgot it was. I forgot it was, and they went to the regional tournament. And I mean, it was cool, but it just seemed kind of unfair, also.
I think something I'd like to see is I'd like to see us stick with a format for more than 1 year before we change it entirely again. Like, I get it, like the format, okay, you don't want to do everybody in and all this stuff, but like we do it 1 year and then we change it totally to the next year. It's like you could probably make any format good if you just tweak it a little bit every year and not like totally revamp the system. It's like we never get settled on anything. So like I'd like to see like almost like tournament style come in where that first round regional, if you want to put everybody in, like that's cool. They open up on a Saturday. How about put all 4 games at a single site, and somebody can pay $10 to come in and watch 4 games and watch totally different matchups. Like you can do things to make any format work. But it's like, well, 1 year we're doing everybody in, the next year we're only doing 6 in, and then next year we'll be back to 8 in, and then the next year it'll be 4 in. And like figure out something and let each sport come up with a structure, and then let each sport make the tweaks it needs to make it work for their sport. Because I one of the best things about basketball is that it's a tournament sport, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can get a team can get hot for a couple of weeks, a team that maybe hasn't had the best season, and that's fun too. But we just totally revamp everything every year. It's crazy to me. There's no continuity from year to year to year. It's constant change all the time. Every 2 years, the state revamps things, and then the districts revamp things, and then the region revamps. And it feels like Coach Bentley said, like, every year it's something new, and we just kind of go along with it, and it is what it is.
And they don't ever ask anybody that actually coaches a game either. So that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah. Well, you brought a good point up also, Coach Craig, about how they have 4 at one site. It's a tournament game. People want to watch more than one game. And last year it was so ridiculous because all the games were always at the same time. So, I'm a junkie. I want to go watch all the games. I had to always pick one game. And so,
I mean,
good.
Like if you look at the NCAA tournament in basketball, which is one of the best sporting events in any sport all year round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the fun is that first weekend is if you ever go live to that, you get to see 4 games in one day. That's kind of fun. You watch all the different crowds come in and out, and how the lower seed gets a lead in the second half on a top seed, and then all the other schools get behind the lower seed. Like you can do fun things like that with basketball, even if you have the 7th or 8th seed in the tournament. But like, this year we're not having the 7th and 8th seed in the tournament. Last year we were playing on Wednesday, the week before the regionals tournament started Monday, and we played 2 games while the district tournament was still going on. This year they're not doing that at all, and it's like, my God, like, can you figure something out and kind of stick with it for a couple of years and let us figure it out?
But Coach, the worst thing last year was Madison kids had to choose to go to the girls' state game or the regional game, or it was a state game, was it? Anyway, the girls and boys played at the exact same time, so they couldn't go to watch both. I mean, they couldn't put the games at the same site or something. No, either watch the girls play or watch the boys play. You can't do both. I was just like, so when I was in Charlottesville, when I was at UVA, Larry Johnson was the head of the VHSL, and this guy had a presence about him, and he's a leader. And so nowadays, if you ever ask about the VHSL, they say, well, the athletic directors want this, the principals want this. There's no leadership. There's no person to say, look, guys, it's all about the competition. It's about all the schools. We all can't be winners. It's our brand. There's nothing around there that does that now. So it'll change depending upon, what certain principals or ADs want. And the next thing, I don't know, it's been very frustrating for a person, who loves high school sports as much as I do. So, but anyway, so guys, well, look, I kept you guys too long, like I always did. I really appreciate you getting on. Best of luck. You got, I think all you guys have obviously lots of potential this year. Don't want to put too much pressure because everyone knows South Lakes is going to win the whole thing. And if they don't, Coach Desmond did not do a very good job. I
texted him today. I said, don't mess it up.
Yeah.
I said another word, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, at least if he messes it up, he did win 2 regionals in a row, so you can always point to that, right? So, yeah.
Not when you got a 4-star.
Yeah, I know, and other great players too. So anyway, guys, this has been great. I appreciate you doing it. Let's get together before before the holidays.
For sure, man.
Sounds good.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys, appreciate it, man.
All right, fellas.
All right,
Thank you. All right, guys.
See y'all Saturday.
All right, guys.
Yeah.